Greetings everybody, my name is Captain HonorSeeker and welcome back to the Challenge with Journal 90 for Europe, and we have a very weird Tempest Rush build. It's literally weird. We have the one kill out with this hitting with Tempest Rush will activate Cyclone Strike and both skills deal 523% increased damage. So that's a good one. We also have the Caesar's Memento, so enemies take 732% increased damage from your Tempest Rush 45 seconds after you hit them with a blind, freeze, or stun. We also have the Balance Diebo in the cube. The balance of Tempest Rush is increased by 600%, and when you Tempest Rush hits 3 or fewer enemies, it grants 100% critical hit chance. Now, that's the easy part. We also have the Guardian's Jeopardy, which is very good. It gives us the set bonus, which gives us more power. We also have the Captain's Scrimsons, which give us cooldown reduction by 20%, resource cost reduction by 20%, and damage dealt is increased by your percentage of cooldown reduction. This is the one that's gonna hurt the most. The Stone Gauntlets, getting hit increase your armor by 50%, but reduces your movement speed by 15% and attack speed by 20%. This is something that will hurt you a lot if you're not careful. But on the other hand, we also do not have any legendary gem. So I have no idea what this person was doing, Paragon 178. It's not the best one, but it's also the slowest one ever. So what I want you to do is activate your Sweeping Wind. And then you can use your Tempest Rush. You can also use your Epiphany Desert Shroud. Increasing your spirit regeneration by 20, so that's good. So we constantly have that spirit regeneration. If your spirit goes down, you can use your Mystic Ally to boost it up. You can also use your Blinding Flash. It also gives you a little bit of spirit. Each enemy you blind restores 10 spirit. So the more enemies you blind, the more spirit you gain. And then it is literally trying to constantly keep your Tempest Rush stacks as high as possible, which is going to be a pain, I know. It's going to be really a pain to actually do it. But your Tempest Rush is going to be your main damage. Also make sure that your Sweeping Wind constantly is up. And make sure that it constantly hits. As long as your Vortex is 3 or more stacks, you gain 8 spirit per second. So that's also the reason why you try to keep it as active as possible. Alright guys. Without further ado, let's get into the Rift. Alright guys, here we go. Challenge with Journey 90 for Europe. We open up on Pandemonium, and the moment you enter, you're gonna activate your Sweeping Wind, you're gonna activate your Desert Shroud, and then you just keep holding down your Tempest Rush. Also beware of the Stone Gauntlets. They are gonna mess you up a lot, so beware of those stacks as well. At one point you literally will start slowing down. But you can kind of work around it if you have your Desert Shroud up. It reduces a little bit of that slowing down momentum, but it will not do it completely. So keep your Sweeping Wind as active as possible. Your Sweeping Wind is one of the main reasons that you keep having spirit. So make sure that you constantly keep having 3 stacks, because 3 stacks gives you 8 spirit per hit. That's very important. Also, if you are holding down Tempest Rush, just make sure that you go high before you release it. And with high, I mean above 70. Like if you're above 70, you have a good chance to like almost one shot an elite. Once you have done that, you can use your mythic ally to gain spirit. If you're like very low on spirit, you can use your Desert Shroud to gain spirit, and you can use your Blinding Flash to gain spirit. Right. Now, coming across the channeling pylon is up until the first elite, you don't have to worry about spending spirit. Like you can just hold down your Tempest Rush until you come across this elite. Like once you hit this elite, you just release it with Binding Flash, and the elite almost dies instantly. But again, Stone Gauntlets are your worst enemy in this build. Like, there's nothing more that can be done. Like, it is literally the bane of your existence for this build. The Stone Gauntlets, yes, you are slower and you're like extremely survivability, but it slows you down so much. So keep that in mind. Also, if you run out of spirit and you cannot reactivate your sweeping wind instantly, you're also kind of gonna have a problem. So make sure to keep reactivating it as quickly as you can. And then of course, like Tempest Rush is your main damage, and I said keep it as high as possible before you release it with your Blinding Flash. And you should have like a decent amount of time. I'm not gonna say that this build is fun, because it is absolutely not fun to play. Like it is an absolute horrendous build. Like no legendary gems, like no nothing. Like there is literally nothing that we can use in our advantage in this build, except for the Tempest Rush, thanks to the Wumpkin Law, Balance, and Seeds of Memento. Right. This is gonna be your final floor. It's a Desolate Sands. And it just remains the same. Like, make sure that your spirit remains as high as possible, that your Desert Shroud is constantly up, that your Mythic Ally is up, that your Blinding Flash can be casted when it needs to cast, when you have like a tremendous amount of stacks on your Tempest Rush. And you should have it down. Like, but again, I keep saying it over and over again, the Stone Gauntlets are actually hurting you in this rift. They slow you down so much, and the only way to like go around it is with Desert Shroud. And then all we have to do now is find the last few percentages to spawn the Rift Guardian, and to figure out who do we spawn. And who do we spawn? We spawn Perendi. And all you have to say to Perendi at the end is, see you next week, dude. Alright guys, you just saw me clear the challenge rift. It's not an easy one this time. It's for EU, one of the worst in weeks. Like, no legendary gem, almost no spirit regeneration, no actual build. But if you follow that rig, you have a high chance to clear it. Alright guys, thank you all for watching, have a good one, stay healthy, and catch you all in the next one. Bye bye.